Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to the Fairy Amazon Challenge in The Sims 4. We are following the reign of Queen Supriya Reed Daisy, who has recently witnessed the degradation of Lynette's newest friendship. While Tinker and Sycorax came as a breath of fresh air to the court, building fast friendships with the Crown Princess after her disastrous falling out with the Night Ember twins, it appears even this bond has fallen prey to Lynette's inability. Her relationship with Sycorax has become strained, and following that, she and Titania have come to despise each other. We are picking up at 2 a.m. on Friday, and it seems as though a lot of our fairies are very busy with their sword fighting. I'm not gonna lie, seeing the sword fighting. I don't even mind that it happens on such a regular basis. It just looks so pretty to me, and I love the fact that they're keeping sharp and in shape in some way. But okay, I want to see what's going on in the heads of our youngsters because things have been changing quite a bit. We know that the relationship between Sycorax has gotten strained with the princess, and in fact, now the princess has completely destroyed her relationship with Titania. And I wanted to kind of talk a bit about that. Now, in my head, what has gone down is that in the last episode, Sycorax was basically talking down, or she was, I think, saying things about Vivian and Titania behind their back as a way of trying to uplift Princess Lynette, but she was really kind of downgrading them in her language, and Lynette did not like hearing that, and she tried to draw the line and tell Sycorax that even though she appreciates her support, please don't speak about Vivian and Titania in that way. They're also noble youngsters of the court, they're noble girls of the court, and Sycorax did not take that too well, and she saw it as kind of pathetic. So they had a falling out. And following that, Lynette came across Titania. And they got to talking a little bit, and Titania, I think, was giving her the cold shoulder, and Lynette basically said to her, I don't know why you're treating me this way, I even defended you against Sycorax. And now we have had a falling out because of that. Titania would have turned around and told Lynette that she doesn't appreciate Lynette's efforts when it comes to stuff like this. She doesn't care whether or not Lynette takes her side. In fact, she doesn't understand why Lynette continues to use the name of Vivian and Titania to act so pathetic. They've moved on, why can't she? And so I think the conversation escalated quite a bit from there, and they ended up despising each other, which is freaky because Lynette is going to be a young adult in a week's time, and if she makes it on the next council, which is literally a couple days after she becomes a young adult, then she is going, at this rate, to declare a reckoning against Titania. And I don't want to see my girl Titania dead or potentially exiled. I mean, if she's exiled, we'll see her in Vampire Amazon, the Vampire Amazon court. She's going to be a guest there for the remainder of that generation. But still, I don't want to see her in problem like this. So I'm kind of worried about Titania and how things are going to go for her. At this rate, I think Titania would very much hope that Lynette's relationship with Supriya is bad enough that Supriya doesn't want her on the council, because once Lynette is a young adult, even the youngster fairies, once they become young adults, they can kind of be voted into, or they can be chosen for the council. So stuff is going on, but let's go and take a look at the whims. Actually, before I get to the whims, something I kind of noticed is that I'm noticing with the mothers, they have one daughter, because at this point all of our 3 mothers have 2 daughters each, but they have a daughter who emulates them the most. So with Supriya, Supriya, where'd you go? Supriya, can I get you to change your outfit because this kind of goes into what I'm saying. And I was speaking on this in a previous episode, but Supriya, look at her. She has this red dress and she's quite stunning. Lynette, she looks so much like her mother, but even the garment she's wearing, it's red. She's kind of emulating her mother in a sense, right? They both have the same tones going on. So out of the two daughters, Lynette feels the most like her mother in terms of appearance. And then if you look at Katerina, she has, the red hair. She has like blues in her gown. And who's emulating her? Titania. Titania has that vibe. She's like a younger Katerina. She's got the red hair. She's got the blue dress. So that's what we have with these guys. And then with Lady Brant. Where's Brant? Brant over here. She has more of a gray sort of dress, but Sycorax is the one who's kind of emulating her. Sycorax, when she's done being a little fairy here. There we go. Sycorax, she has, even though paler skin than Brant, she has the same facial features as Brant, and she has that light colored dress. I think she's got more of a lighter gray or a white tone, but very, very similar. So I kind of love the fact that our fairies actually have a mini version of them in the younger generation. I think it's really, really cute. Okay, now that I've gotten all of that rambling out of the way, let's take a look at the whims. So Titania wants to be friendly with Princess Jadis. What is the relationship with Jadis and the others? Let's see. She has a 42 friendship with Jadis and a 36 with Lynette. She has a slightly higher friendship with Jadis right now. Okay, I'm gonna wake Jadis up. I'm gonna get Tinka to speak to her. And I think this is solely from we'll have a deep conversation. This is solely from the perspective that she hasn't spoken to Jadis since she's come into court. And Tinka is not really involved in any of the court politics and any of that. I think she probably sees right now Jadis as the quiet princess that kind of sticks to herself, and she wants to get to know a little bit more. If Jadis is smart, she's going to use this as a chance to build a connection with Tinka and potentially steal Tinka from Lynette as a friend. Maybe we'll ask about Mother Nature. So let's go chat. Another thing I noticed with Jadis, if you look at her sleepwear, right? She has, and none of this is intentional by the way, but she has this this teal sort of color that she is wearing, which is fascinating because with Tinka and Sycorax, their sleepwears are more green. And then if you look at Vivian and Titania, their sleepwears are blue. And it kind of feels like Jadis is able to blend into both friendships. She's able to blend in with the Falcon Russells. She's able to blend in with the Night Embers. Whereas Lynette, I'm pretty sure, is she like a lilac color? No, she's a purple. She's got a purple sleepwear. So it doesn't fit it definitely doesn't fit too well with Tinka and Sycorax. It might blend a little bit with the blues, but yeah, she obviously leans a lot in one side, like more to one side than the other. Oh, she likes argumentative Sims. Ooh. You know what though? One thing I feel good about in terms of Sycorax and Lynette, even though they had a falling out and they fought at the end of the last episode, because they have an amazing compatibility, they keep interacting with each other and they're able to kind of overcome their problems. So yes, Sycorax snapped at her and Lynette had a problem with the way she was speaking, and they were Sycorax was mad at her. They were mad at each other. The thing is, they can't ignore one another. They keep seeking each other out. And in communicating, they're able to overcome some of their problems. So they might have like a hot and cold relationship, but look, they're already friends again. So I think this dynamic really does work. And I know one of you lovelies made an interesting point about maybe Lynette being an elitist kind of looks down on Sycorax, and she doesn't like Sycorax, then judging Titania and Vivian because Titania and Vivian are the daughters of an important fairy, whereas Brant is not so important. I don't think it is that case between the two of them, solely because they have an amazing compatibility. I think Lynette is an elitist, yes, but she would look down on, like, the males, mostly. She would not, I think, look down on the females. And she and Sycorax get along so well. I think with Lynette, she only reacted that way to Sycorax because even though Sycorax kind of is drawn to Lynette a lot and challenges her and maintains this friendship, Lynette finds herself drawn to Vivian and Titania, and she finds herself craving that friendship. So she's constantly yearning, and so she becomes defensive of what she has lost. Yeah, fascinating stuff. Okay, moving on to Jadis. We got distracted. Moving on to Jadis. She wants to talk with Princess Lynette. How fascinating. How fascinating. I wonder if Tinka, in her innocence, mentioned to Jadis, who she thought was also, a quiet princess, that Sycorax and Lynette had a bit of a falling out, and she's a little worried about them, and she hopes everything is okay. And so Jadis now, with that information, wants to go talk to Lynette. Kind of to prod her a little bit, poke and prod her. And what's this? Tinka has a close dynamic with Brant, which is nice. Also, something I didn't talk about. Vivian and Titania have a difficult dynamic with each other. So everything that's happened has taken, their sisterhood has taken a bit of a hit. Jadis, let's go seek out Lynette, and you can chat with her. Talk about the warm temperature. She's definitely going to make an underhanded comment about the lukewarm temperature of Lynette's relationship with everyone. Okay, hold on, where is Lynette? Lynette, I'm going to get you to stop playing because your sister has to come and talk to you. Thank you very much. Complain about parents. Okay. Complain, yeah. Jadis, she has an excellent relationship with Supriya. What? Did you... Jadis. Okay. I mean, that fulfilled the want, even though she didn't go talk to Lynette. I think I'm going to interpret this as Jadis having sent a note to her sister commenting on her lukewarm relationships. It was a bit of a prod. She didn't actually go speak to Lynette. I don't think I've ever seen her speak to Lynette. Might have happened in the background, but I have not been witness to it. So yeah, that fulfilled that little relationship, but that's probably what Jadis did. I don't think she wants to be associated with Lynette or caught in her web, or she doesn't want people to think that they are chums with each other. No. She wants to make it clear that she is far superior to her older sister. But I think she would send that note to poke and prod her, and apparently now she's going to go spar with her. Okay, that is fine. But I think Jadis does all of these things strategically, without others being able to notice. She does it so smartly that they can't tell they're being poked and prodded by her. Everything she does seems so innocent in a way, but it's not. She's deliberately making moves. Titania, meanwhile... Oh no! Guys! Oh no! This, you know what? I feel like for some fairies, coming to court is excellent. For other fairies, it is absolutely disastrous. And you can see here, Titania has a good compatibility with both Lynette and Vivian. And she has come to despise both Lynette and her twin sister Vivian. That is so heartbreaking to me. That is so heartbreaking. Oh my goodness. And with Vivian, like I said, they have a difficult dynamic. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe that. Lynette has literally destroyed this family. She has destroyed this family. I feel so bad for Lynette. Not Lynette, sorry. I feel so bad for Titania and Vivian. They came so close to each other and we had a certain view of them. I hope Sycorax and Tinka don't become like Vivian and Titania. But she wants to chat with Princess Jadis. Yeah, she has a 33 friendship with Jadis. Even though she never really had a good impression of Jadis, I think at this point, she sees the practicality of Jadis more than the patheticness of Lynette. So she's gonna go and make a conscious decision to get to know Jadis better, because I think Titania would start to feel as though she has kind of, let's enthuse about thrill seeking, she's kind of judged Jadis in a certain way because of her proximity to Lynette, but maybe Jadis is more balanced of a fairy than she ever thought. So, come on, discuss healthy relationships. Can we talk about anything with her? Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay, she didn't do that. She didn't go. But I suppose we can say she sent a note to Jadis as well. She sent a bit of a note to Jadis talking about maybe healthy relationships and whatever else she wants to talk about. But I think if anything, she would have told Jadis that I'd like to get to know you better. I'd like to be friends. And Jadis, I mean, at this point, she's pulling them in. Tinka, now Titania. It would be very much in character for her to take advantage of this. And finally, actually not finally, but Vivian. She, meanwhile, wants to rummage in trash. And it seems as though her relationship, yes, I mean, she despises Titania. She's got a minus 53 with Lynette, so she doesn't despise Lynette just yet, but she dislikes her. And she's got a minus 12 with Tinka. Interesting. She's not friends with Jadis or Sycorax. She's only friends with Uther, and it's at a 99. Oh my goodness. I don't know if anything's gonna happen between her and Uther, but I think at this point, he's the only friend she sees worth in keeping. And, I mean, we'll have to see how things escalate as they continue to get older. But okay, she's gonna go rummage in the trash now. This kind of connects to something some of you lovelies were saying beforehand. Let's rummage in the trash. You were kind of saying that Vivian rummaging in the trash, her being so sloppy, kind of, in Lynette's mind, equated to Vivian not being dignified enough and her not being subtle enough when it came to her friendship with Uther. And maybe Lynette did not trust Vivian to keep that friendship under wraps or to keep that friendship private, which would have sparked a lot of talk in the queendom about the nature of her friendship with Uther, and it would have kind of posed a bit of a Titania, pick up. It would have posed a bit of a problem for Lynette, because then people would have viewed her relationship with Uther as weak. And we know that Lynette was kind of giving in to the necessity of being with Uther. And she really wanted to use that to solidify her position. She was resistant in the beginning, but at some point her mother kind of convinced her that that was the necessary thing to do. So Vivian being this way, rummaging through the trash and such, it was not seen as something that a dignified friend of the crown princesses would do. So it's kind of intriguing to keep an eye on that. Lynette, what do you want to do? She wants to confess to being socially awkward, but to who? To who will you confess this to? Well, let's take a look. She has a 13 friendship with Kayla, a minus 26 with Lady Brent, which is interesting considering her daughters are your only friends right now. A 57 with Katerina, a 36 with Tinka, minus 52 with Vivian, 35 with Bren, minus 100 with Titania, 86 with Supriya, 39 with Sycorax, and 6 with Jadis. So definitely her mother. She's gonna go to her mother and she is going to confess to Supriya that she is struggling to maintain her friendships and she is suffering for it. At this point, I think that ask for social advice. I think at this point, Supriya can already tell. It's why she prefers Jadis over Lynette right now. But this is Lynette kind of admitting it to her mother. I think it's a sad situation because in a lot of ways, Lynette can't actually say these kind of things to anyone else. She has like no other friends to tell this to except for her mother. But when she tells her mother, it's not received that well because all it does is solidify the fact that she can't handle her responsibilities. So every time she confides in her mother loses faith in her. But she doesn't have anyone else to tell this to. It's such a miserable situation for Lynette, and it truly breaks my heart. It truly breaks my heart. We are picking up at almost 5 p.m. on Friday with all of our fairies gathered in the Outer Commons ready to have a little birthday party for Lady Bren. The Queen has made a white birthday cake. Uther has just arrived. Everyone is dressed in their party gowns and I'm excited for Bren to enter a new stage of her life. I also kind of want to keep an eye on who Uther interacts with because last time we had a birthday, Uther was sticking very close to Vivian, and I think that's when a lot of problems started cropping up between Vivian and Lynette, and like everyone noticed and people started talking. So I wonder what drama this gathering is going to bring as well. Sometimes we don't notice things, but I feel like there are undercurrents that happen, some interactions that kind of slip by unknown until someone else comments on it and we kind of figure out that, oh, okay, that gathering sparked something. But okay, Lady Bren, like I'm already noticing right now, Sycorax and Uther are chatting each other up and I don't know how that's going for them. Like, are they not getting along or are they getting along? I'm a little bit uncertain, and Bren is definitely keeping an eye on them. Like, Bren is watching them. Do you see her head turned? She's like watching the two of them talk. So that's kind of fascinating. And also, in the tables that we have right now, Bren, she is sitting with Queen Supriya, Lady Katerina, and Brant is here at the table with them, kind of in a place of honor. Kayla, meanwhile, is on this table with Lynette, Vivian, and Titania, which I feel like would be very awkward for Lynette. She got assigned to this table with her ex-friends. And oh my goodness, are you not Lynette? Lynette is not in her party wear. Lynette, this is not the attitude to have. That is not appropriate wear. Come on. There we go. There, you don't want to seem unbothered. It's kind of rude. And on this table with Jadis, we have Sycorax and Tinka, fascinatingly enough. So the princesses have essentially been thrown onto tables with the twins they might not gel entirely with. But okay, let's not waste any time. We are going to get Lady Bren to blow out the birthday candles. So let's get her to make a wish. Okay, Bren, here you go. Here you go. I'm really excited to see what she's going to look like after her makeover. Obviously, she's not going to have any drastic personality changes, but this is a really good time for the fairies to mingle a little bit. And since it is her birthday, she is going to get 2 whims that she gets to fulfill as a part of it. Okay, Lady Bren has aged up. I am now going to give her a makeover, and then we'll come back and resume with fulfilling her birthday wishes. Lady Bren has aged up into an adult, so we're taking a look at her in Cass. This is her makeover with a muted green sort of aesthetic, similar to Lady Kayla. But overall, I think Bren has a more youthful feel than she did in her younger days. Her relationship with Katerina has also been fizzling out, and rather than envy, I think for her, green is more so a color of renewal and new beginnings. Looking back, I think Bren has had a relatively stable time in the court, with her appointment to the Summer Council being the biggest scandal. But things have mellowed out quite a bit since then. In terms of hair, jewelry, and makeup, she has a much softer look than she did before. Rather than having half-bound long hair, which felt more mature, she's got really cute curled space buns. Her jewelry is silver instead of gold now, with a pop of green to brighten things up, and she's got the same makeup palette she had before, but more subtle than the bold, shiny look. Almost as though she doesn't need to wear tough armor or prove herself to anyone. And that's all for Lady Bren. Oh my goodness, look at them all convening on that cake like a bunch of insects. It's literally like flies all flocking to the cake. But Lady Bren, she has taken her piece and she moved tables. And it seems as though Jadis, attuned as ever to, the changes of the court, she has decided to join Bren over here. And oh my goodness, Tinka and Sycorax, why aren't you guys in your party dresses? Let's get you changed. You're also members of the court. Let's get you changed. Okay, wonderful. And I want to do the birthday whims for Lady Bren. Okay, let's take a look at what exactly is going on in her mind. So Bren, it appears, wants to flirt with someone. And we did talk a little bit about how her relationship with Katerina has fizzled out quite a bit. So let's see in the household. She still has a little bit of romance with Katerina, but you can see it's going down quite a bit. It is only at a 5 right now. Now, I kind of have the feeling that Bren, even though she is going to flirt with Katerina right now, I think she doesn't have any expectations from Katerina anymore. She's kind of accepted the fact that she and Katerina have grown apart. And I think in the process of reliving some of the connection they had in the past, she's kind of getting ready to move on. I think that's where emotionally Bren is at. She's not taking it bad. She's not being bitter about it. She is trying to still have a cordial relationship with Katerina, but I think at this point she knows that there are unforeseen reasons for why Katerina has decided to pull away from her and focus on her daughters, and things probably won't be the same between them. They had a really passionate stage. They probably won't get back to that, but she's at peace with the way things are going. She's kind of going to embrace her free-spirited side, I think, from here on. And she wants to play a prank on someone. So let's see who she's going to play a prank on. She has a 14 friendship with Tinka, a 98 with Queen Supriya, a 99 with Titania, 100 with Jadis. She has a 35 with Lynette, 100 with Vivian, 100 with Kayla, 50 with Sycorax, 100 with Katerina, and a 0 with Brent. Okay, and in terms of compatibility with everyone she has 100 with, she has good compatibility with Jadis and amazing with Katerina, so she is going to play a prank on Katerina. And I think this is, let's see, what is she gonna do? What is she gonna do? I don't know what kind of prank. Pretend to be slapped seems a little bit extreme, no? Maybe we'll do the pretend to be slapped. It seems extreme, but I think this would be metaphoric for Bren saying that you're basically pushing me away and rejecting me, but it's okay, I accept that. Like, I'm not gonna take it to heart type thing. So okay, she's gonna play a prank on Katerina, and they had a bit of a blast. So this is going to be, I think, giving them some closure, because Katerina is, in a sense, through jokes, going to confess that, yes, that is the case between us. I realize I haven't discussed it, but I have been pulling away. And I'm glad that you understand my perspective and won't make things awkward for the two of us since we are part of the summer council. But I really don't think it's gonna work out. I don't think so. My priorities are very different right now. I'm trying to prepare my daughters for the next generation. You are going to serve in the next generation's court. We're basically in two very different stages of life. And Bren is going to accept that quite well. But there we go. I think that was quite nice. Now, Uther surprisingly didn't really talk to Vivian. I only saw him speaking with Sycorax. That kind of makes me curious about the friendship they have with each other. Oh. She has a -2 with Uther. I think we already knew from beforehand that Sycorax, she was kind of looking down on Uther as not being worthy enough for Lynette, and that was a point on which she and Lynette got along. And I suppose she doesn't really hold back, and she kind of, started maybe poking and prodding Uther a little bit, and they were having a little bit of a banter over here. But it wasn't a, oh, let's be friends. It was more of a, oh, you're here as well. I'm surprised they invited you. I think that's probably what Sycorax was saying, and 100% Sycorax would have been probably making snarky comments to Uther about how if he has so much time to attend birthday parties, he should spend some time with his betrothed so that she doesn't have to deal with the falling out of basically crumbling relationship and betrothal. Like, it's nothing, this betrothal isn't really doing anything for her. It's not being of benefit to her. So why the hell is she in a betrothal with him? I think Sycorax would have dished that out quite a bit. Yeah. Oh, I completely forgot to declare a faction for Lady Bren. This is her first birthday in the main court, so we need to be doing that. Let's very quickly take a look at her relationships. This is not a very pretty sight, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let's take a look at her relationships to see if she has more green or if she has more red in the main court. And clearly she has more green, which means Lady Bren is going to be declaring herself as a member of the Harmonious faction in court, which means that she and Kayla now belong to the same faction, and so both of them are gonna have one influence point in the faction category. So Bren already had one faction influence, which means she's not going to lose anything. So her influence, her total influence, is going to remain unchanged. But Kayla, she lost an influence point when she declared her faction because there was nobody else who was also harmonious. So she is now going to gain +1 faction point, and her total influence is going to go up by 1. So there we go. I suppose that's really good for Lady Kayla. And who knows, maybe being in the same faction is going to, beyond, the councils and stuff, like they're actually part of a faction now, it's gonna help with their relations and maybe some of the feelings of envy that Kayla has. And with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.